Hey guys, just letting you know this video has been a long time in coming. It's been a pretty interesting development of events, so essentially I'll tell you the idea. Today is October 8th, and so it's a Wednesday. This last weekend I got together with some ex-members and we basically floated the idea of doing a sort of demonstration, if you will, at the local World Mission Society Church of God in Salt Lake City. So that's what we're gonna do. So this is the beginning stages, and so the permits are pending as we speak. And so the whole idea is to basically just not go on Zion's property, but we'll actually be across the street. We'll have just a table and some chairs, maybe 3 or 5 ex-members. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold signs, basically saying that we are family, that we do care about them. And I think probably what we'll do too is we'll have like a hot cocoa bar or something like that. That way they can come and they can get a cup of hot chocolate and just have a conversation. We'll have signs like "We are family," "We miss you," "We just want to talk," those kind of things. Not like a protest where it's like "Give me my money back" or "Give me my family back" or something like that, but more so just trying to dialogue, just trying to have a conversation with them, just trying to, break the narrative that they're so earnestly trying to spin, because right now they're trying to shun us. In fact, I believe as of the time of recording, they just recently had a phone call with Mother saying that, oh, don't worry about the members that left, they were never part of us, they weren't our family, don't talk to them, whatever. But we're going to break that narrative. We're going to go there. It's going to be great. We're going to give them hot cocoa. We're going to try and have a conversation with them. And we're going to let them know that we have not forgotten them and that we still consider them family. So we'll see what happens. This is the first day of really any development on this. So this video, by the time you see the finished product, will be 30 days in the making. So this is day 1. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, I just wanted to update you on the demonstration that we're going to do outside of the WMSCOG. So the day is going to be November 15th now, and I'll kind of tell you the story. We went to some ex-members' house over the weekend and we kind of discussed the ins and outs of what we want to do, and it was decided we need more people. So we need about 30 or 40 people, so in order for me to get that done, I need a little extra time. So the day is now going to be November 15th is when we're going to do the demonstration. It's a Saturday. And so far I have about 15 to 20 people that are willing to come. Permits are still pending from the city, so I'll update you as we get those approved. And on top of that, I've reached out to 3 news organizations to hopefully be there and give us some coverage, some exposure that way. So we'll see what happens with that. I also have an ex-member who's coming to film it with a bunch of really fancy film equipment, so you'll have better quality videos instead of me. So obviously we know how my video quality is. It's not the greatest, but it is what it is. So that's kind of the update now. So the date's been changed. We're going to have more people. I have some people from my church coming, actually. So that's going to be interesting to have. And we're still working out the details of what we're going to do exactly as far as the signs and how we're going to make them and stuff. So I'll update you as we're doing that. But as far as right now, that is the update, and we'll still keep you posted on any further developments. Hey everyone, just want to give you a quick update here in regards to the demonstration. Instead of the protest or demonstration, we're going to call it an outreach, right? Because we're going to be outreaching to these members, right? And hopefully bringing them some peace and some happiness and just letting them know that we're there. But anyway, so I know in the last video I talked about getting a permit. Well, that's out. I talked to the city attorney and he said you don't need one, and I clarified everything that we're going to do. He said that's fine. The city is going to be fine with it. Plus it saves me some money, so I'm appreciative of that. And he says if anyone wants to raise a stink about it, just give the organization his information and he'll clear it up. I also talked to the sergeant of the West Valley Police Department, so he knows what's going on as well. Today is the 22nd, so we're getting pretty close, a few weeks away here still. Just today, I reached out to KUTV, Fox 13, and ABC4. So I got their email addresses, and I'll be sending them the breakdown of what we're going to do and see if any of them show up and record anything. All right, everyone. Well, today is November 14th, which means that tomorrow, actually around this time, we will be at Zion and we will be doing our outreach to the members that are in there. Because obviously, as you know, in the Salt Lake City branch, they're really trying to hold on to the members for dear life. And, you know, they're using a lot of fear-mongering tactics. You know, mothers called and said, basically, the people that have left, they were never a part of us. Don't worry about them. They're basically dead to you. You know, the whole shtick. So, yeah, today is November 14th. So tomorrow is the big day for the outreach. I feel a little nervous. I haven't been back to that place for over a year. I mean, it's kind of the last place I want to go on the face of the earth, to be honest with you. But I feel like it's necessary and I feel like it's the right thing to do. Again, it's an outreach for, you know, good purposes. We're not there to cause any problems. We're not there to, you know, disturb anything, but we are there to send a message. We are there to let people know that we're here, that we're not leaving, that we care, and that there is hope. So that's kind of the whole point. And as of right now, we have Andrew from Cultish, the super sleuth, as it were. He's coming with some people, and I'm probably going to go live for a little bit. See what happens. If nothing happens, I probably won't go live for very long, but I will go live just to, you know, see if anything happens and keep you guys involved. Obviously, this video will come out a few days after, you know, the outreach, and we'll put it all together and videotape everything we possibly can for documentation. How I see it going is maybe the overseer will come out, maybe a couple of group leaders might come out, maybe some kids to say hi. I don't know. We'll see. I really don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I've never done this before. Never thought I would have to do this, but here we are. And Alex yesterday, he was actually going to one of the businesses across the street from Zion, and he was asking all the businesses around the Zion to, you know, let them know what we're doing, that we're going to be on the grass, that, you know, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it. So all the businesses know what's going up tomorrow, and so that's going to be okay. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll even come and join in, you know, because we kind of let them know the situation. So the businesses around Zion kind of know what's going on in that place. So that's going to be interesting to see if they come out too and help. But yeah, so we have approval from the city attorney. I've talked to the sergeant of West Valley Police Department. We've talked to the surrounding businesses. So, I mean, green lights all the way, thank God. And the businesses know, and they're going to come out and probably help, and they're going to see exactly how this organization operates too. We'll talk to them even more about it. I did not hear back from the 4 news organizations that I reached out to. I sent them emails, I called them. So we'll see. Maybe they'll come, maybe they won't. But either way, we'll have documentation and make a good video for you guys. And hopefully this will be a blueprint, so that way everyone else in their respective Zions can also do something similar, and just let them know that, hey, we care. I want to make this a movement. It's not just about me. It's not just about my channel. It's not just about a handful of people in Salt Lake. It's about a movement that I'm trying to start that could ignite and spread to the whole nation and even the whole world. Who knows? So that way, you know, if the ex-members unite and they're willing to do something about it, and they're willing to come together and do something together, there's really nothing this organization can do to stop it, because we're on the right side of history. So anyway, yeah, so we're a day out. Tomorrow is the day, and so far as I know, everything's prepared, everything is in line, and we got to just see what happens tomorrow. Again, I'll go live for a minute and see what happens, but regardless, everything else will be documented, and so hopefully you'll see the end result, and it'll be awesome. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today is the day. We are on our way to the outreach, as we're calling it.
We're about 2 exits away, so we're probably about 10 minutes or less. We'll be there on site. It's going to be a good day. I feel like it's going to be helpful. We actually got a banner. I forgot to mention that in the last video. We got a banner that is going to be really good. It's going to say, "We still love you," and "Research is not sin." So hopefully they can see that. It's a pretty big banner, actually. It's going to take 2 or 3 people to hold it up. Yeah, so we're about to get to the site. We're driving now. We're excited. We don't know what's going to happen, so stay tuned and we'll keep you updated. Stay classy, Salt Lake City. Hey guys, just a quick update. We are on site. We are at the World Mission Society Church of God in Salt Lake City. We did have a brief interaction. I think they saw us coming, but it is what it is. It's fine. We're still here for a purpose, and we're still here to help people. But yeah, we did have an interaction with a couple of the leaders, and they were nice. Basically, we just told them what we were doing, that we're not going to be on their property, we're not going to be disrupting anything, and they said that's fine, just don't come on our property, and you got to do what you got to do. So it was good, mutual understanding, so they kind of understand what's going on here, and they're okay with it, and it is what it is. So we'll see if there's any other interactions, and I'll keep you guys posted. Hello everyone and welcome back. Obviously you can see we're standing in front of the World Mission Society Church of God in Salt Lake City. Again, we just have signs showing that we love people, that research is not sin, that isolation is not the answer, and that we just want to talk and we just want to work this out, because if they're the truth, then we should be able to work this out face to face. We should be able to talk about it. We should be able to work out our differences vocally instead of just shunning, closing the blinds as you've seen, and being scared to talk to us or even wave and say hi or smile or anything like that. If they're the truth, then why do they have to be so insecure? We're not the hateful ones, in my opinion. We're smiling, we're waving, we're trying to engage, but yet we haven't really gotten any engagement. We've gotten more shunned, and again, they closed the blinds, everyone went inside, so we'll see what happens. Maybe someone will talk, we'll see. Here's Evelyn.
Hi everyone, my name's Evelyn. I'm a survivor of the World Mission Society Church of God, and we're out here just letting everybody know that we still love them, we don't hate them, and pretty much, yeah, showing love, true love. You know, what they claim to say is Heavenly Mother's love, but we know now it's, you know, the love of Jesus Christ. So I hope that everybody can come out here and talk to us, support us, and show love.
Everybody out here in front of the World Mission Society Church of God with people who used to be members at the World Mission Society Church of God. Praise God that the Lord drew them out of a high control cult. Adam was telling you guys earlier, you can see all of the blinds are shut, but what's interesting is when we first arrived here, they were all open.
Yeah.
They're ready for the sun, ready for the day.
Totally open.
Totally open. Then they came out and talked with Adam and then they shut the blinds. But interestingly enough, I don't know if you guys can see it, the far right window just has the window peeked open just a tiny bit. So we've seen people move it a little bit. So we're thinking there's a camera there as well. But these people, guys, are made in the image of God. and they have fallen prey to a false gospel and a false Christ, one that cannot save anyone, but instead enslaves people, right? Enslaves them to their works, thinking that the doctrines and commandments of men are what justify them before the Father. And if we believe what the Bible says, right? It says that if you confess with your mouth, believe in your heart, right, that Jesus Christ is Lord, then we have salvation. They deny that, the World Mission Society Church of God. No, Jesus wasn't enough, but you need to do external works of righteousness in order to be saved. The question is Jesus enough? Was he enough for us to inherit salvation solely through belief in him and his perfect work on the cross? And the Bible demands emphatically, yes, that was enough, because Jesus Christ is the eternal God who took on flesh, sinless, where we all have sinned, right? We've all failed, died the death that we deserve, resurrected from the dead, sits at the right hand of the Father. And what's interesting is they believe that Jesus Christ has already come back as Christ unsung hung. But if you read 1 Corinthians 15, what does it say about Jesus? Not only does it give the gospel, which is the death, burial, and resurrection of the God-man Jesus Christ, it also says that Jesus Christ, right? Jesus Christ will return again when all of his enemies are placed under his feet, and the last enemy to be defeated is death. So the question that you must ask yourself is death defeated yet? Has Jesus Christ returned as a different human in form? No, he has not. He's still reigning in heaven, and he will be coming back again. We must read our Bibles to know the truth so we do not become deceived. These people desperately need to hear the gospel, which is faith in Jesus Christ, the eternal God who took on flesh, dying the death that we deserve, rising from the dead, right? It says that we deserve punishment from God as sinners because God is a holy and just God, but Jesus Christ is both the just and the justifier.
Amen.
Amen. So that's why we're here. We just want to talk to people about Jesus, give them the gospel, because if they're honest, if they hear the truth of the gospel, what better can this place offer them? Seriously. The gospel's this: you can't do nothing. Yeah. Jesus did it all for you, and faith alone in him is what saves you. They tell you nope.
Also, if any members are watching right now, just ask to read the original truth books. If any members are wondering like what we're talking about, about this information control, ask the leaders if you can read the original truth books, the first edition unedited, on Sun Hung's truth books.
Yeah, not have it explained to you if you can actually read it for yourself. So. Hello everyone, I just wanted to share some thoughts about the outreach that we did yesterday at the WMSCOG. Obviously you've seen the live, you've seen the photos, and you've seen all the video up to this point. But this segment or portion of the video, I just want to give my thoughts of basically how it went, what I wanted to happen, what I thought was going to happen, and just kind of, just talk about it for a minute. First off, it was really weird being back at the WMSCOG, honestly. It was like, it almost felt like I would imagine if you were in a prison and you spent a lot of time there and then you left and kind of started to assimilate in society, but then went back to the prison to visit. And it was almost like a different, not almost, it was like a different life. It was the people that I worked with, served with for 10 years were not recognizable to me, honestly. It was almost like alien. It was very interesting, that portion of it. And another thing I wanted to talk about too is when it came to the dialogue, when it came to really just the attitude of the organization, I was really disappointed, honestly. When I was in the church, I thought we were the most powerful organization in the world. I thought we were the most powerful truth in the world. We had the most powerful gospel workers in the world, right, etc. We were never afraid of anything, right? We talk about Paul, who would never shrink back. He was shipwrecked. He was stoned. He was this. He was that. Persecuted. The early church, how they were fed to lions, how they were, beaten, how they were lit ablaze like human candles, right? We learn about this in the WMSCOG. But this organization showed that they are not the early church. They do not have the spirit of the early church. They don't have the spirit of Paul. They don't have the Holy Spirit at all. Because this organization was terrified of 7 people holding signs that said, "We still love you," right? Research is not sin. Isolation is not the answer. Leaving WMSCOG is not leaving God. Like, that is what you view as persecution. That is your persecution, really. There are Christians all over the world being slaughtered by other religions, by governments, etc. Like, that's actual persecution. Like the early church, what Paul went through, that's actual persecution. You know, you might call us disgruntled ex-members or whatever. But the thing that I heard was, they say that the ex-members are the ones that are full of hate, that they're the ones that are full of just bitterness and rage and whatever. But I think you proved to the world yesterday that that's not true. We were out there with loving signs. We were out there just wanting to have a conversation with somebody. We didn't go on your property. We didn't stop anybody from leaving. We weren't doing anything physical. We weren't doing anything really out of our rights to do. But you were afraid of having a conversation. So much so that you didn't want anybody to leave the church. You put the blinds down. You boarded up everything. You know, it's like, that to me just really showed like, wow, when I was in there before, when I was indoctrinated, I thought we would stand up to anyone and anything at any time. Like, we knew how to handle anyone at any time because we had the truth. We were the best church in the universe. We were the same church the early church had. We were the same church Apostle Paul went to, right? God does not take pleasure in those that shrink back, but those that are forceful, etc. Where was that yesterday? Where was it? That's the truth that you're so afraid of leaving? That's the truth that I was so scared of leaving? Right? Like, you know, today we went to church, obviously. We go to the Baptist church, obviously, if you don't know. But I went up and asked them, I was like, you know, what would happen at the Baptist church that I'm at? I asked them, some of the deacons there, I said, what would happen if some people were outside having signs and stuff and wanting to have a conversation with you? What would you do? Right? I didn't lead them on or anything. And this is how they answered. They said, well, we would go out and talk to them, and we'd offer to have them come inside and sit down and talk about it and work it out. That's what they told me. And that got me thinking, you know, that would have totally, if you would have done that, WMSCOG, people would have had no reason to call you an insecure cult. And honestly, that was my hope. In the beginning, my hope was for this to happen, okay? Let me tell you what my hope was. My hope was that we would have gone to that place, people would have came out and embraced us and shared the gospel with us and would have talked to us. Or we would have been offered to come inside and sit down and talk about it and even get an apology or a hug or something, right? But that didn't happen. And I guarantee you, if you would have came out and you would have been like, hey, you know what? Like, let's talk about this. Come inside Zion, right? Lunch is ready. Let's have lunch together. Let's talk about this. Let's work this out. Let's have conversation, right? You know, I would have actually did a second take and been like, you know what? Maybe I missed something doing my channel, right? Maybe I overestimated something. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I didn't realize something. You know, maybe they're not what I thought they were. But how they reacted yesterday, it proved everything right. All the stigma, all the preconceived notions about the organization, about it being insecure cult. I mean, that's how you guys acted, right? If not, explain how you're the truth that's going to be preached to Samaria and to the ends of the earth, and nothing is going to stop this gospel. You'll just find yourself fighting against God. But just because you have a handful of people outside with cameras, you know, and they'll probably play it off like, oh, well, they had cameras out there. You guys are videotaped and photographed all the time. In fact, you videotape people on the streets, in their homes, all the time. And I know because I did it. without their consent or anything like that. So don't try and play it off like you're afraid of cameras, right? You guys take pictures and photos of people all the time and yourself, so don't use that as an excuse. That's a cop-out. So bottom line is why are you guys so afraid of having a conversation, right? Even if, so what, there's video cameras, so what, people are taking pictures, like, you guys are used to that. It happens all the time in your organization. But the difference is in the organization, the narrative is controlled, but out in the wild, you get scared. Then why is that? If you have the truth that is impenetrable, it's the truth that saves mankind, that breaks down, the kingdom of Satan, etc., then why are you so afraid of a video camera? Why are you so afraid of speaking to the public? It makes no sense, guys. And, Apostle Paul, he was all about public preaching. He was all about public debate. He was all about that. So you claim that the spirit of Paul is in your church. I didn't see that yesterday. And if your truth is so fragile to where somebody who has a sign who just says research is not sin, we still love you, leaving WMSCOG is not leaving God, you're so afraid of that, you have to board up your windows, you have to shut the doors, forbid people from leaving. That's the truth. That is the organization that you claim is truth, that is going to save mankind. You can't even handle 5 to 7 people outside with those kind of signs. I could see if it was like derogatory, right? And we're having bad words or explicit images or whatever, right? I could see that, right? But that's not what you guys experience. Whatever they say happened. And I'm sure what happened was, they probably talked crap on us, on the ex-members inside amongst themselves, right? In their own little echo chamber. But guys, that's the organization you're afraid to leave. That's the organization that you think is God's true church on earth. A handful of people outside have a couple of signs that just are uplifting and godly. But your response is, instead of going and talking and working things out, sharing the gospel, the truth to those that are astray and maybe misinformed, instead, no, we're going to close the blinds. We're going to forbid people from leaving. No one's going to come out and talk to us. Nobody leave if you can help it. And you're just going to talk crap on us inside in your own echo chamber. Does that really sound like the truth? Does that really sound like God's true church on earth? Does that sound like the early church? Does that sound like what Apostle Paul would have done? Does that sound like what the early church would have done? Seriously, answer this for yourself, guys. I exposed you. I hoped I didn't. I really hoped I wouldn't have had to. Again, my goal was for you guys to embrace us, bring us in, love us, share the gospel with us, do what is Christian, correct our misunderstanding, embrace us with love and graciousness, even maybe bring us food or something, or water, or whatever the case is. But unfortunately, you failed. Unfortunately, you fell short of expectations. Because I hoped you would have proved me wrong. I hoped you wouldn't have fallen into the cult stereotypes that you guys so desperately try to avoid and desperately try to counter, but you fell into the cult stereotype yesterday. You really did. You acted like an insecure cult, and prove me wrong how you didn't. Prove me wrong how you didn't. And last thing I want to say about this is another reason why it's absurd how you guys acted is because you send people all over the country, all over the world, to places they've never been, in hostile environments they have no idea how to navigate, to share your truth, right? You put people in persecution's way, harm's way, etc., to preach your gospel. But yet there's a handful of people outside asking for a conversation, asking for just someone to come talk to us, asking us for someone to embrace us. And as a Christian, it is your duty for those that are being led astray to correct them, rebuke them, teach them, love your enemy, right? Pray for those that persecute you, right? Isn't that the Christian thing to do? So my point is we're out there literally asking for a conversation and not a peep. Nothing. Just ignore, shun. Like, you guys say you don't do these things. We're not a cult. We don't shun people. We're not afraid of opposition. We're not afraid of slanderers. We're not afraid of ex-members. We're not afraid of facts, information. Then what was that yesterday? Please explain to me how that doesn't prove me right in everything that I've said. Please explain to me how that doesn't prove anybody that's ever spoken out right about your organization. You literally did the most culty thing imaginable yesterday. You didn't act like a Christian. You didn't act like a Christian church. You acted like a cult. So explain to people how you're not, even though you act like one. And I proved it. It's clear as day. But my point is, anyway, you send people out to the most hostile places with your gospel, and you go in and you fight with the truth, and you go in swords ablazing, right? But yet you're afraid of a few people outside that are literally asking for a conversation. Pull the blinds down, lock the doors, all the blinds. Like, I've never even seen so many blinds down in that place. I didn't even know some of those windows had blinds until yesterday. That's the truth. That's your best church on earth. That's your Christianity, the truth restored. I mean, if that's how you want to play it, then it's kind of laughable. But if that's how you think, if that's how you really think Christianity is, and that's how you think Jesus would have acted, that's how you think Paul would have acted, the early church fathers, that's how they would have acted, then I would suggest maybe pick up a history book, because that is not at all how they ever reacted to something like that. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on yesterday. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And the one thing that I will say, if you can take away from this, my point of doing this and documenting everything is to create a blueprint for everyone else, because it's not about me. It's not about my channel. It's not about the people, the viewership necessarily. I did this because I wanted to start a movement, right? They think this is just going to be a one-off thing. And it's up to you. Is it a one-off thing? Is it just me? Is it just a one-off, it's just a one-time deal? Or are you going to wake up and rise and do what I did and not fear the darkness, not fear the evil, not fear this organization? If I proved anything, it's that there is nothing to be afraid of these people. They have nothing. There's nothing to be scared of. And the one thing I want everyone to take away is this is a blueprint for what you need to do. This is a blueprint of how we can literally make a difference. But if this is just a one-off, it's up to you guys. There's only one of me, and I'm not, and let me say, I'm not taking all the credit. Andrew from Cultish, other YouTube channels were there. I couldn't have done it without them. I couldn't have done it without Evelyn, without Alex, without my wife, without Evelyn's family. It was a group effort for sure. Did I bring it together? Sure. Right. Okay. But that is what they are terrified, is when we unite together. That is what they are afraid of. And we saw that firsthand. Can you imagine? There was 7 of us, and plus a couple of other Christians that came, that didn't have to. They had other things to do. They were normal, just Christians that wanted to help, that were out there. Could you imagine if there was 100, 200, 300? Could you imagine if this didn't happen in just one little town in Utah, but this happened worldwide, globally, constantly? This place would have to close. This place would shut down. They think they outnumber us. They don't. So again, is this a one-off? I sure hope not. I hope this is a movement. I hope this ignites your passion. I hope this ignites a movement to where enough is enough and we're not taking this lying down anymore.